Is Coach Joe L. Brown Jr. You may know him. He is your welding coach, and he has over 200,000 followers on social media. But before we get into all of that, we've been in here talking a little bit when Joe came in, and he told me he was a big fan of the Broadway Joe video show, Late Night. But Joe, you got a story to tell, and I want you to tell the story before we even start talking about what you do at Arkansas Baptist College and helping the kids, because there's a background, and I want people to hear this background in your life story. And it started pretty early for you in life. And I'll let you talk a little bit about that before we get into talking about what you're doing now to help so many people.
Okay, thank you, Broadway Joe. The story started pretty much when I was 14 years old. At 14 years old, I went to DYS, and that's in Alexander. And ironically, everybody that I met in DYS when I was a juvenile, I met in prison when I went to prison at 16. And I went to prison from 16 to 26 years old. Now, what's ironic about the story is all the brothers that I met at Alexander, I met in prison at 16.
Wow.
And those that I didn't meet, I found out from their homeboys that they died. So it wasn't, I can't make it up. Like it was no hope for us. It's what it was. The system was what the system was. But a lot of us took the time out and did something with the opportunity. Right. So I engrafted welding while I was incarcerated. So they gave us opportunity to get education, to get degrees and hands-on skills. So I took advantage of that. But I have to say that it was my mother who introduced and helped push the welding career into my life. So when I went to prison, it was 96. So at that time, we called it the Gladiator School. It was wild. Like, it was wild.
Like that was right after banging in Little Rock.
Yes, I was down there. I was in the midst of that, too. So we was all down there. Like, a lot of us brothers was down there. We was babies. Some of us had just got, early teenager, early 20s, but I was 16. And at that time, it was one of those situations where I know the doctor spanked you on your butt and said you was a boy child or male, but when you went there, they're going to do it again. They want to really find out, okay, let us really see if you're a boy. Maybe they made a mistake. That's how it was. Like, I can't make it up. So I had a decision to make in there to be, if I was going to be a woman or I was going to be a man.
Wow.
And I decided to be a man, Broadway Joe. So I made a decision, and I stood up for myself, and I caught a charge in prison. I ended up stabbing someone. And when I went to the hole during this time, it was like on Friday, my mom heard about the information, and she was so excited, not because I got in trouble, but because she was afraid that someone was going to take advantage of her baby. Right. She knew it was wild down there. She heard the story. She's like, oh, and she knew I was from an area where, I was around some guys that probably would have trained me, but she didn't know if I was going to be ready for that type of life. That's a whole other life. Right. So when she found out about it, she was excited and she was relieved because she said, okay, I know he's going to be okay, but I want to give him something. And ironically, Joe, she woke up and said she was walking through get to the kitchen, and she seen a commercial, and it was talking about Welder.
Okay.
And ironically, she heard them say $100 an hour. And I'm from the streets hustling, so she's like, oh, $100 an hour, this got me. She want to go for this. And that's what sold me. 21 years later, I'm welding.
All right. Congratulations.
Amen.
Oh, yeah, you welding, you teaching it.
I'm teaching it. Exactly. So it has made full circle. And I'm humble about it because I didn't know what direction it was going to go in.
Right.
I didn't know how it was going to go. I just stayed consistent at it. And I knew that I could turn it into different things. And when I got the opportunity from Dr. Fitz to be a part of the Meta 24 program at Arkansas Baptist College, I hurried up and jumped on it because I didn't realize that his vision was to really help the community.
Right.
And there was a time in our community where the teachers, the doctors, everybody was there. And then they moved out. And all the people in the community could see was the violence, the pimps, just what's around them.
Right.
So the kids wanted to grow up to be that thing because that's what they seen. Right. Now we're changing that. When you come to this school, if you want to get in the welding or HVAC or plumbing, there's going to be somebody that's going to actually have a presence that make you want to be that thing. When they come and they want to sign up to be a welder, now they can see how I utilize the trade. And they say, man, he got over these many subscribers. He's making money from these different aspects, and he's saying it's possible and he laid in the same bunk that I did. So it's possible. So that's why it's so powerful now, because it went full circle. I didn't even know that they was going to implement the DYS program into it, and now that they're helping them too, to me it just feels like it's my calling because I was there. And I know that if they don't get no opportunity, they're going to be in the same situations a lot of the other brothers fell short in.
You get an opportunity to be a mentor while you're there at Arkansas Baptist College too, and so you get a chance to see a number of students that come through. But for people that may be listening this morning, maybe there are some parents, or there may be some young people that are listening, and they're thinking about, welding, $100 an hour, like you got. Talk a little bit about that, and how does it work over at Arkansas Baptist College if somebody's listening this morning? Because there's more than just welding, but if they do come, you're a part of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is what make our program so unique. We don't just teach welding. We teach a person how to metal fabricate, how to read sharp drawings and blueprints, how to assemble. So that way you can not only just learn a trade, because we can't reinvent the wheel.
All right.
We got to get you a skill to pay the bills. Once you get the skill, we're going to show you how to use those same finances to turn yourself into a business, because this is an entrepreneurship boot camp program. So we're not just teaching a person how to get a job, we teach them how to get a skill. So we're getting them a 4-block process is what we're creating, where you have a 6-week process to learn TIG welding, a 6-week process to learn MIG and flux core, a 7-week process to learn stick welding. That way, we're not overwhelming them with too much information. We're giving you a 6-week setting, 4 days a week, 4 hours a day to gravitate to it, and then we help implement them with jobs. But you have to show up. And so we're teaching character too. We have 10 things that we tell them that these 10 things can start you a business, get you any job. And one of them is showing up on time and holding yourself accountable.
Amen.
You can't do that, I can't help you. So we teaching them character. So by the time, if you can show up to school every day and you can put the work in, I know I can put my name and say, hey, he gonna show up. But you can't break that habit that you have created if you can't show up on time.
We say this all the time. Half of the job is getting to work on time. That's half of the job. You just get there.
Just get there.
So I understand exactly what you're saying.
So we give it to them all the time, because a lot of them have that issue. And so we try to give them that model, because welding is based on muscle memory. It's like going to the gym, Broadway Joe. Once I give you the right information, I give you the tools and the equipment, it's based on you.
Right.
If you go and you do 10 and I run over here and I do 30 push-ups, I'm going to be bigger than you. I'm going to be better than you.
Right.
And that's what welding is. It's all based on muscle memory. So once I give it to you, if you don't look the way you want to look, that means you're not putting in the work.
Amen.
That's it.
But, I have to answer this question because I want to go back. You said that your mother put it on you, but you
Yes,
were
she did.
incarcerated at the time, and you went in at 16 and got out at 26. Do they teach welding there, or how were you able to get the skills there?
So this is what happened. At the particular time, this was during the mass incarceration, so they had implementing a trade and a degree program in the prisons.
Okay.
So they had at this particular time, it's at and actually I think they still have it at Burner Unit. I don't know if they do welding still, but they had a VOTEC center on
Okay,
the
that's
prison
good.
ground.
That's
But
good.
you had to have your class, you have to stay out of trouble, you had to meet certain guidelines. I had to get a GED. So I want to backtrack just a bit too to tell y'all this. When I went to prison, I was good with finances.
Okay.
I didn't know how to read, fam. I learned how to read in prison.
But you
I
knew
got
how to
my
count your
GED.
money. You know
I know
how
how to, I was good at money. I was good at money. I've been having gold teeth since I was 12. You know what I'm saying? So I was always into money. I just didn't, the reading part didn't count. I didn't know how to do it. I mean, I know how to, do basic, but I wasn't advanced at all.
Wow.
So when I went down there, I had to get a GED first to even go to VOTEC. So one of my OGs sat me down and said, hey, if you want to be this, you're going to have to make these sacrifices. So instead of going out to the gym or going to the yard, I sit at the table with this guy and learn how to read.
All right.
And he taught me how to read, and my heart goes out to him because he's been there now probably 40 or 50 years.
Wow.
But he taught me how to read. He sat down with me every day and he said, hey, this is how you do it. This is how we do it. I took time. And so shout out to Charlie Rock, man. He really helped me. And because of him, I'm doing amazing stuff. But he literally seen potential in me and said, he said, I want you to do what I couldn't do. So I'm out here living for him too as well. So I want to make sure I say that, because if it wasn't for him, I couldn't have got into the welding program, because I had to get a GED first. So, and then I looked it down on that, but I had to learn everything to get me here. So it wasn't no pretty steps. It wasn't easy. It wasn't nothing given to me, but I wanted it. So that's all I want to say for those who really want it. If you have the desire and you stay consistent and you stay humble and open for information, anything is possible.
All right. Big props go out to Brother Charlie Rock out there. If you're just joining us, we have Coach Joe L. Brown Jr., widely known as the welding coach. Talk a little bit about your social media following. You got over 200,000 people following you.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. It happened. It almost seemed like it happened overnight.
Wow.
But it didn't though. So I created. What I did was I created my first channel was Hog On Welding.
Okay.
I created it in 2016 when I decided to go on business on my own.
Okay.
So I got out of prison in 06.
Okay.
I worked for someone for 10 years because I was told that whatever you did when you went to prison, you're going to have to prove yourself for 10 years. So I did 10 years in prison. When 2006 hit, 2026 hit, I said, okay, 16 here, I said, I'm going to start me a business. I stopped working for other people, and I said, okay, I did my 10 years. Now I'm going to try it for myself.
Okay.
One of my another one of my OGs said, man, you talk good. You need to start sharing your journey. I'm like, man, I don't want to get in front of no camera. I don't want to do all that. So he was like, nah, you need to start documenting, because, man, you like the TD Jakes from the hood. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Don't even tell me. So he said, people listen to you, man. I listen to you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right. So I started a YouTube channel. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't looking in the camera right, but I learned something. So I started that channel in 2016. Just documenting different jobs, where I was going. And eventually what it did, it taught me how to do social media. So once I learned, I created Your Welding Coach when I came back to Arkansas in 2022. So I left and went on the journey. I went to Phoenix, Arizona. I went to Georgia. I traveled all over the country. So when I got out of prison, I went from South Carolina to Washington State, welding, fabricating. And when I came back in 2002 is when I created Your Welding Coach.
Okay.
I took a position at the Goodwill. And when I was there, I'm like, well, if I'm going to take this position, I got to start a business with this. So I started the channel, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Your Welding Coach. And I just started documenting what we was doing, showing the progress. And it just took off. And it actually took off when I was showing an example of how you use a torch. This is how I blew up. Okay. I showed 1 minute of how to use the torch. I decided to say, hey, this is how y'all do it. This is how you cut it on. If you safety, this is what you need to do. What made me blow was people was caught off guard that someone could teach them something that looked like me.
Oh, really?
Literally. My gold teeth, my beard. They said, did I just learn something from Ray Ray? Like, they was all over. They was on me. Like, did Ray Ray just teach me something? Did Uncle Pee Wee just show us something? And it just blew up. And now that video got over 6 million views on YouTube.
Wow.
And now my YouTube channel got over 70,000 subscribers by itself. My TikTok got over 40,000, 50,000. Like right now, like I say, everything that got my handle on it is really blowing. And the ironic thing I found out is people wanted to learn, and they wanted to learn from someone that looks like them.
Wow.
And when I found out that everyone told me, he said, you know why we watch you? He said, because I have never found nobody that looked like me, that sounded like people that I know that could teach me something. So now they coming to me for a different form of education. So my YouTube channel is now school now. Now schools use my videos to show the students on how to weld, and I have over 3,000 videos. So I done built a massive archive of how to, not only how to weld, on how to turn it into a business, on how to turn it into passive income, on how to just learn the skill. So I have people from older people to younger people watching, enthused in what I do, because they said that they didn't think it was possible to someone that looked like me. So it seemed like I kind of broke through some type of way by being clear, and they said they can understand me. They said, oh, I just can't believe it. He looked like he's from the hood, but he talked like he's from somewhere else. So it was funny. So they just gravitated to me, and now it's just been growing. It's just been growing.
Well, let me say this. You can view it on our KOKY page now if you are hearing Coach Joe L. Brown Jr. talk with us, and he said, Joe, say the whole name. Coach Joe L. Brown Jr., okay? He's known as the welding coach, and you heard him talk about all of his followers. He has over 200,000 followers on social media. And honestly, we have a green room, and I walked through the green room a couple of times. And as Coach Hill was telling me about the welding coach, for some reason or another, I did not have this picture in my mind of you when you walked in. I was looking and I didn't want to say anything when you walked in, but I was like, this is the welding coach? This is the guy?
Hey, it's me, fam. It's me.
I'm going to tell you, I can see a lot of young people really, really relating. I can see that because I was picturing an older guy with a stomach and all of this and, all of that. So, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for my school, Arkansas Baptist College, that they found you and you're going to make a difference over there. So people that are listening today, they want to enroll over at Arkansas Baptist College and get the skills. How do they get all of that done?
Okay, so the number to call is 501-420-1354. That's 501-420-1354. To get on my personal email is joe.brown@arkansasbaptist.edu. That's joe.brown@arkansasbaptist.edu. Get signed up today.
Anything in closing, Coach, you want to leave the listeners with this morning? An incredible story. I love interviews like this with info. Well, just to see your journey. This has been an incredible journey and a great story. And you're a great storyteller. Too. I told you that. You're a great storyteller, man. Good job.
The main thing I would like to say to anybody out there is don't despise the day of small beginnings. The person that might not look like what you think they should be might be the very same person that come back and save you. And so I just want to say that because God has did that for me. So I was humble because there was a lot of people that didn't get the chance to see me be here. So don't look down on those who you thought weren't gonna make it. They might be the same ones that saved you today. And so I'm humbled that I'm saving lives. And that's all I have to say. It's a kid. It just needs you to believe in them. They're going to be the same one come back and save you. That's all I want to say.
Coach Joe L. Brown Jr., widely known on social media as the welding coach. He is the instructor at Arkansas Baptist College. And if you're looking to get into welding, you need to go see Coach Joe. Coach Joe, thank you so much for being here with us this morning and sharing your story with us, brother. God bless you. Keep up the good work at ABC. That's my alma mater, Arkansas Baptist.